Pineapple, apple pen.
Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm gonna be showing you about Ajax. So we'll start with the introduction part and we'll see how Ajax works in our web application, and later I'll show you the example of Ajax, how we can use Ajax in the web application. So let's get started with the introduction part. So we'll see how Ajax works and what is the use of Ajax. Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's a developer's dream. You can do this following stuff with Ajax. You could update a web page without reloading the entire web page, or you could request the data from the server after the page has loaded, and you could receive data from a server after the page has loaded, and you could also send the data to a server in the background. So basically you don't need to reload your web page if you are using Ajax. So this is some tremendous uses of Ajax. You could use Ajax in your web application, and you could also fetch the data asynchronously from the server. So I'll show you how to use Ajax in your web application. So we'll see the example application now. We'll see how to make Ajax call. So let's jump right into the editor and let's get started. So basically I have created a web page called basicajax.html, as you can see here, and inside this what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a form. Inside that form I have taken two input fields, one for the first number and another for the second number. So I want these two numbers to be multiplicated, and our result should be displayed here in this row. So this row is hidden for the moment. As soon as the result displays, as soon as the user enters the two numbers, this row will be displayed on the page. So I'll give it a comment here, result row. So you can see here inside this I have taken a container and I have given a ID called result box and display none. It hides the row, it hides this container for the moment, and I'm displaying the h1 tag here. Your result is here. Inside this div I have a p tag called wrapper and ID with the wrapper. Inside this p tag I'm gonna display my result. So you might be wondering why I take this form and how I'm gonna process this form to display my result. So this is the form. If the user submits this form, the method of this form is the post. It's obvious one, and inside the action I have given basicajax.php. This is the file. In this file I'm gonna process my output result, and I have taken this CSS class to style this form. So this is the form and this is the result box which I am gonna display my result. So this is the front view of the web application. If you run this application, your application will look like this. So these are the two input fields, first number and last number. When the user submits these two fields, and when the user clicks or hits this show button, your result will be shown here. So I'm gonna save this page and let's hop to the JS part. Inside this JS file I'm gonna give my validations first for that two input fields. So for that I am using jQuery. Yes, it's a JavaScript library, famous JavaScript library. You can do some amazing things with jQuery. So let's get started with the jQuery. Take document dot ready. Inside this function when the document is ready, I'm gonna take my when the document is ready, I'm gonna call a function. Inside this function, I'm taking a ID of the button which is present inside the form. The ID of the button is show. Copy down this and call it here, and if this button is click, I'm gonna call another function. Inside this function, I'm gonna take a parameter called event. Inside this click event, I'm gonna say event dot prevent default. So you might be wondering what this prevent default will do. This prevent default will prevent your form from submitting before the validations completed. After the validations has completed, your form will be submitted to the PHP file using Ajax. So these things will be covered later. After this, I'm gonna take a variable called first. Inside this, I'm gonna take document dot get element by ID. Inside this, I'm gonna take the input field ID, the first input field ID. You can see here the first. Using this, I'm gonna retrieve the value of the input field where second document dot get element by ID second. So in these two variables, I am storing the values of these two input fields, the first input field and the second input field. You can retrieve the values using JavaScript in this way, document.getElement by ID dot value. So in these two variables, I have two input field values. Why I have taken these two input field values? Because to check if these two input fields are empty or not. First, not equals to empty, equals to, I'm gonna see, and second, not equals to empty. If the two fields are empty, then I'm gonna say alert. Inside the alert box, all fields are required. Means I am showing that all fields are required, all fields are mandatory. If these two fields are not empty, then we are going to post our form. Post, and the URL will be the file name basic ajax.php, which I haven't created yet. I have created, but I have not do any calculations here. It is empty. For the moment, I am giving the URL data dot calculate form dot serialize. So you might be wondering what these all things will do. This is for the post. The form is a type of a post, and the URL where it has been posted to the basic ajax.php, it's a file. For the moment it is empty. We will do the calculations in the PHP file later, and this is the data for using which we are going to send our data, form data, in a serialized order. to the PHP file, and I'm gonna say cache will be false, comma, on a success I'm gonna call a function called, this is a callback function, you can see here this is a callback function. Inside this callback function I'm gonna say document dot get element by id result box dot style dot display equals to block. So what this line represents, document dot get element by id result box dot style dot display equals to block. This file will show your result box which is hidden in the HTML file. You can see here I made this result box container hidden inside the HTML box. So once the form has been submitted, this result box will be shown in the block. So after this I'm gonna say document dot get element by id wrapper, inside this inner HTML equals to response. So using this way you can post your form through Ajax, and you could display your container box which is hidden in the HTML file, and inside this wrapper I am displaying my data, my response data. Once the form is submitted, it is being posted to the basic ajax.php file. There the calculations will be done and your data will be the form data. This calculator form is the class name of the form which I have given in my HTML file. You can see here. So I am calling this class name and I am sending the data of this form in a serialized order, and this is the attribute cache false. On the success I am calling a callback function inside this response, and I am displaying this response in the wrapper container which I have given here. This is the p tag. Inside this p tag the result will be shown. So let's save this and let's hop to the PHP part now. Let's say PHP echo. I'm just displaying part here, br tag. After this I'm gonna take if condition and we'll say post, and we'll see is set post and we'll see first, and also I'm gonna take and condition here, trim post first. So inside this if condition I am taking another variable called first. Inside this I am taking another variable called the first variable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a form called let's say post, let's say and first. So here I am taking the variable called first. If the form input field is set, and if it is post, the first, it is the ID. If the first input field is set and post and it is not being trimmed, not equals to null. I forgot to give the not equals to here. if it is not equals to null, I am storing this value in the first variable, else I am gonna display a error message here, echo please provide first value. So this is for the first variable. I am gonna take for the second variable called second value, because I have two input fields in my form. Let's say second here, and let's copy down this to trim function, and here also and here also. So if these all things are done, I'm gonna create a function called manipulate. Inside this I'm gonna give two parameters called first and second. So this $sign represents the variable in the PHP code, in the PHP language. I'm gonna call this function here manipulate, and I'm going to pass these two variables inside this function, and result will be the multiplication of these two variables, as I have said earlier. Echo result. So I'm gonna display this result variable here. If the form is post, and if all the fields, if all two fields are posted to this PHP file, then it is going to check is set post or not, and it also checks the trim using trim function. If it is trim or not, then only this variable is going to store the value of first input field, else it will echo this message, please provide the first value. And for the second value I am doing the same. After that I am displaying my result in this variable result, and I am displaying the result on the view page. So let's save this PHP file, and let's save these all files, the front page and the JS file. Using jQuery I am doing the validations. If the variables are not set, if the input fields are not submitted by the user, then this message will be returned, and else our Ajax call will be posted. So using this way you can give, or you can use Ajax in your web application. And let's hop to the browser and let's refresh the page, and let's give input values as 5, 10, and let's say show. You can see here, without even calling to the server, your result will be displayed in below the form. So using Ajax you can do some dynamic things in an awesome manner. So these are some cool stuffs about Ajax. In the next videos I'm gonna be showing you about JSON, how you can retrieve JSON data in a JSON format using Ajax. Some big applications like Gmail, Yahoo, these all web applications use Ajax and JSON format to retrieve data in an organized manner. So let's save this all and let's review the code which I have given here in the form. So this is the form, and this is the result box, and inside this JS form I'm gonna give validation parts above using jQuery, and if the validations are all set, then I'm gonna make a Ajax call using jQuery. You can see here $.ajax. Inside this I'm gonna make a Ajax call, and the type of the form is post. URL, the form, the file name, and the data will be the form data, and the cache will be false on the success. On the success, I'm gonna make a response. I'm gonna make a callback function, and using this response I'm gonna display in my wrapper p tag, paragraph tag. In the PHP file, I'm gonna check if the form is post or not, and I'm gonna also check my variables and my input fields are set or it is not being trimmed. After that, I'm gonna make a call to the function which is present below the if condition, and inside this manipulate function I'm passing the two variables, the first and the second, and the result I'm displaying here. So this is all about the Ajax. Hope you did enjoy this video. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for my next videos. Thanks for watching this video.